Hi. Now we are going to discuss about equivalent mass last portion. That is number of equivalence calculation, number of equivalence, number of mole relation, and then normality, molarity calculation. This is the very special area, very important area in different examination. Okay. So we are going to discuss first one, number of equivalence. We know to calculate number of moles of any substance. If you represent number of moles by N, we are using the equation given mass in gram divided by molar mass. Given mass in gram divided by molar mass. Here we are using the symbol W for given mass, capital M for molar mass. Number of moles equal to given mass in gram by molar mass. Similarly, we can say number of equivalents equal to given mass in gram by its equivalent mass. Equivalent mass. So to calculate number of mole, given mass in gram by molar mass. To calculate number of equivalents, given mass in gram divided by number of equivalent mass. We know the relation equivalent mass equal to molar mass by its valency. This representation already be given. Capital M for molar mass, X for valency. Equivalent mass equal to molar mass by valency. So in this equation, equivalent mass, we can substitute molar mass by X. Then number of equivalents equal to given mass by molar mass into X. What is given mass by molar mass? That is number of mole. So number of equivalents equal to number of mole into valence. In different calculation, we should know this equation. Number of equivalents equal to number of mole into X. Now we are going to discuss what's the meaning of number of equivalents in chemical reaction or in questions. Number of equivalents, what's the meaning? Number of equivalents. Now we have relation number of equivalents equal to number of mole into X. Okay. Example, we are using one very simple reaction. H2SO4 react with NaOH to form Na2SO4 and H2O. When we are balancing the equation, there should be 2 NaOH, 2 H2. Number of moles of H2SO4 equal to 1. Number of moles of NaOH equal to 2. Its number of mole 1. Its number of mole 2. Number of moles of reactant and number of moles of product vary. 1 for H2SO4, 2 for NaOH, like that. Now I am calculating number of equivalents. How it will be? Number of mole into its valency. For acid, valency is number of replaceable H plus ion. So that's equal to 2. What about number of equivalents? Number of mole 2, its valency 1. Number of equivalents, number of mole 1 into valency 2. There, because in ionic compound we are using number of positive charge or number of negative charge. What about number of equivalents? Number of mole 2 into valency 1. In this reaction, valency of H2O equal to 1, not 2, because because H2O have two ions, that is H plus and OH minus. In this reaction, H plus and OH minus are there present, so valence equal to 1, number of equals to 1. You pointed that number of equivalents of all reactant and product are same. Number of equivalents of all reactant and products are same. So we have to focus the point, number of moles of species in a reaction may or may not be same. Number of moles of species in a reaction may or may not be same. But number of equivalents of any species, any reactant and product takes part in the reaction should be same. In different calculation, we should have this idea, number of equivalents of any species takes part in reaction will be same. Based on this concept, there are so many equations are derived. Okay. If metal react with oxygen to get oxide, on reaction, metal react with oxygen to get oxide. Then, if metal completely react with oxygen, we know number of equivalents of metal should be equal to number of equivalents of oxygen. Number of equivalents of metal should be equal to number of equivalents of oxygen. How number of equivalents can be calculated? Mass of metal reactor by equivalent mass of metal. What about oxygen? Mass of oxygen reactor. Mass of oxygen reactor by equivalent mass of oxygen, that is 8. Because atomic mass of oxygen 16. Valence of oxygen 2, 16 by 2, that's equal to 8. Calculation is not required. Then equivalent mass of metal. Arranging the equation, equivalent mass of metal equal to mass of metal reactor by mass of oxygen reactor into 8. Mass of metal reactor by mass of oxygen reactor into 8. I derived one equation, that is equivalent mass of metal. In this calculation, unknown metal, its equivalent mass can be calculated. We don't want to know which metal is. We can calculate equivalent mass of unknown metal, that is mass of metal reactor by mass of oxygen reactor into 8. If metal react with hydrogen, I am directly going to the equation. What will be equivalent mass of metal? Mass of metal reactor by mass of hydrogen reactor into, what is 8? That is equivalent mass of oxygen. Here hydrogen, equivalent mass of hydrogen equal to 1. So if metal react with hydrogen, equivalent mass of metal will be mass of metal reacted by mass of hydrogen reacted into 1. If metal react with chlorine, I am directly going to equation. You can say what will be equivalent mass of metal? Mass of metal reacted by mass of chlorine reactor into equivalent mass of chlorine, that is 35.5. So in this calculation, equivalent mass of unknown metal can be calculated. Equivalent mass of unknown metal can be calculated by these equations. In this area, we should focus special question. If we give that metal oxide is completely converted to metal chloride. If metal oxide reacts with the X amount of chlorine, it is completely converted to metal chloride. Then number of equivalents of metal oxide should be equal to number of equivalents of metal chloride. I said number of equivalents of reactant, product, everyone takes part in reaction will be same. So number of equivalents of metal oxide should be equal to number of equivalents of metal chloride. Mass of metal oxide reacted by equivalent mass of metal oxide equal to mass of metal chloride formed, because it is product, by equivalent mass of metal chloride. So equation: mass of metal oxide reacted by equivalent mass of metal oxide, mass of metal chloride reacted by equivalent mass of metal chloride. What will be equivalent mass of metal oxide? In metal oxide there are two species, metal and oxygen. Equivalent mass of metal oxide will be the sum of equivalent mass of metal and equivalent mass of oxygen. So I am converting that mass of metal oxide reacted by equivalent mass of metal plus equivalent mass of oxygen, that we know it. Here mass of metal chloride formed divided by equivalent mass of metal plus equivalent mass of chloride. Equivalent mass of metal plus 35.5. By using this equation, we can calculate equivalent mass of unknown metal. Mass of metal oxide reacted and mass of metal chloride formed will be given in the equation. Okay? What about this 8 and 35.5? 8 equivalent mass of oxygen, that we know this is equivalent mass of chloride. We have to calculate equivalent mass of metal. Very simple. Mass of metal oxide by equivalent mass of metal plus 8 equal to mass of metal chloride by equivalent mass of metal plus 35.5. If you give reaction like this, that is metal oxide is completely converted to metal hydroxide. So these equations can be modified. That is okay. Mass of metal oxide reacted by equivalent mass of metal oxide. Mass of metal hydroxide formed by equivalent mass of metal hydroxide. Here mass of metal oxide by this one. No doubt, no change. Mass of metal hydroxide. Metal hydroxide by equivalent mass of metal plus 17. How the 17 come? Equivalent mass of OH minus. OH minus is hydroxide. Mass of oxygen 16 plus hydrogen 1, that is 17 by valency 1, that is 7. These are the different calculations used in number of equivalents. So by the concept of number of equivalents, we can use these different relations and we can calculate equivalent mass of unknown species. There are so many problems are there relating, very simple, these equations can be used.